what we're going to go over right now is how to properly do a plank, right? So this is a very common exercise that a lot of people actually get wrong, right? So we're going to go over it step by step, how to set it up, how to properly do it, and how to feel it in your core so that way you don't feel it in your hips randomly, right? Or your lower back. So a couple things when you're doing the plank, okay? Number one is you want your elbows to be stacked up with your shoulders. So let me explain what that means. All right. You want, if I put my elbow up here, it's not stacked up on my shoulder. You want to put it right below the shoulder line. Okay. Then you want to put your palms down, elbows on stack of my shoulder. Okay. If my elbow and shoulder are over here, they're not stacked up. So make sure they're nice and stacked. Both arms are stacked. Okay. And then from here, you want to bring those legs back. Okay. So the legs are back. So you're almost starting in this kneeling position. Just by this alone, you're going to feel it in your core. Okay. So elbows are stacked, which is great. I'm in my kneeling position. From here, I'm going to lift one leg up and then the other. Okay. Now I got the nice and plank. So couple things. You're going to notice my neck is up, but let me show you how to do it properly first. And then let me explain why it's not correct to keep your neck up. Okay. So the big deal with the plank is you want to keep a nice and neutral, almost straight line with your body. You don't want your head or neck to be over here. As you can see, I'm looking up. My neck is straight or is curved. It's creating a lot of tension in my body. Okay. So you don't want to be curving your neck forward. You want to make sure your neck is nice and tucked in, or your chin is tucked in and your neck is straight. Okay. Next thing when doing the plank is neck is nice and straight, shoulders stacked, your hips. These are my hips, right? You don't want them up and you don't want them down, too far down. You want nice and straight, but your hips are tucked in. When you tuck in those hips, it's gonna burn. So you don't want them neutral, but tucked in. Okay. When you tuck in the hips, what it's doing is your abs are in charge of bringing your rib cage down or your hips kind of towards you. Tucking in the hips allows the hip flexors to relax and emphasizes your core. So many times if you're doing the plank and you're actually feeling it in your hips, it's not wrong, it's just a different type of plank. So to take the pressure away from the hips, tuck in the pelvis and do the plank with your hips tucked in. Your feet are okay to be flat there, or you could be a little bit more forward. That's okay, as long as your elbows are stacked. So you want to tuck in the hips, elbows stacked, and you want to almost press down on the mat itself with your elbows. So focus about pressing down into the floor with your elbows rather than just kind of holding the plank. This is going to make you work your abs a lot harder than just kind of neutrally trying to hold a plank here. So that's how you do the plank. If you have any questions on how to make the plank a little bit harder or easier, just comment below and let me know.